Okay, just waiting for the audio to kick in. I'll get started here. Come on, audio.
U.S. General's top-rated cards provide advanced features at an incredible value, only at Harbor Freight.
For the perfect summer getaway, look no further than here ATM, the driver's choice of the trails along.
Okay, audio, you kicking in? Okay, sounds like we got audio cooking. Okay, we are back. Wow, let me turn the audio off here on my phone. I hope everybody is doing absolutely fantastic. I am doing well myself, and welcome back to the Storyboard Jam Sessions. Woohoo! This is awesome. Cool. Welcome back, everybody. Appreciate you tuning back in again. I've been on a vacation for the last few weeks, both visiting family and on a little bit of business, and happy to be back to our regular scheduled live streams here on the YouTube channel. So again, thanks for coming in. I got my friend Buddha Belly hanging out with us tonight. Going to be doing a little bit of reverse storyboarding on a Western, one of the spaghetti Westerns that was directed by Sergio Leone. And we're going to be studying our filmmaking skills, as well as our artistic skills, as well as our storyboarding and some visual storytelling skills tonight. I enjoy, and when I got started as a storyboard artist, I think it was important to watch films. If you want to make movies, you got to sort of watch them and dissect them and see how they were made. And I've always reverse storyboarded quite a bit. And I enjoy the process. And for you folks out there that are super interested in becoming a storyboard artist, this is a great way to learn. And if we haven't met before, my name is Paul Angeli. I am a storyboard artist. And I created this channel, let's just say about what... We're getting close to a year. In October, end of October, will have been a year for us here on YouTube. And I created the channel to share my journey and processes with you friends out there on YouTube that are super interested in getting into storyboarding for film, animation, or streaming shows. If you want to get into comics or into other visual storytelling, narrative, sequential art type of models there, this is a perfect channel for you. I got over 200 videos for your viewing pleasure, so watch the ones that can give you the most value and learn from those. Like I said, we go over filmmaking, composition, basic drawing skills. There's just so much content, and I invite you to take a look at the channel. Let's take a look and see who else is joining. I got Marianne GR. What's going on? Hey, Marianne, how you doing? I hope everything's going well for you, and you've been working hard on your storyboarding as well. I know a lot of people usually trickle in throughout the evening, and we're going to have some fun here tonight. I had a great experience back in California. I haven't been back to California for a little while, and so it was nice to be back. I grew up in the Bay Area in California, so it was nice to be back. And I swear, every day was like well over 100 degrees every single day. And I miss that dry, hot weather out here on the East Coast. It's hot, but it's got that humidity factor too. So I was able to go on a great 5-mile hikes every morning, and just while it was still cool before the heat came in, but had a beautiful time with my family, and was able to get a little bit of business in too while I was out there. I hope you enjoyed the live streams with the sketchbooks. Shout it out on the chat. I'd super appreciate that. I always bring my sketchbook with me. This is my Canson 8.5 by 11 sketchbook. I love this thing. I love that it's sturdy and you can't mess up the pages too much. But I had a fantastic time, just practicing my sketches and putting all that work in. And I hope you learned a lot too. Watch those videos. I think I try to do a little video every single day so you can sort of see the sketchbook drawings. I think it's so important to practice your skills even when you're not working, and even put that little bit of time in each and every day. 5 minutes here. I was usually sketching anywhere from, I would say, 30, 40 minutes a day, just to get some, get some pencil mileage in. It's super important, that we got to keep our tools sharp even if we're on vacation. But if you need to take a break every now and then and go enjoy life, do that too, because you'll come back even stronger and more ready to go with creativity and feeling good about your drawings. So anyway, tonight, so that's super important. We're going to be doing our reverse storyboarding exercise. So in the link to this description, I gave you the link to YouTube's free YouTube movies. Yeah, you got to get through the ads real quick, but you can sort of follow along with me as we go ahead and reverse storyboard one of the sequences from the film. Paulie, why did you pick this film? Well, I have a list of films, and one of my first animated cartoons I ever did was it drove one of my friends absolutely crazy because it was selected to be in my animated cartoon. It was played at the campus museum, and one of my buddies was a docent over there, and I drove him absolutely crazy with the Good, the Bad, the Ugly theme song. Just drove him absolutely mad as he was curating the museum, and my video was playing over on a loop. And but I learned my animation, and I sort of always loved spaghetti westerns. And I think one of my all-time 5 is Sergio Leone's Good, Bad, the Ugly, with Clint Eastwood, Eli Wallach, and Lee Van Cleef. Anytime that's on, I got to sit down and watch that movie. I love that one. So Sergio Leone, Italian director. If you're not familiar with his work, you gotta check him out. He did what they call his sequence of movies, the dollar movies, which were all. It was I think it was what was it? Besides the Good, the Bad, the Ugly, it was it was A Fistful of Dollars that came out in 1964. Few Dollars More that came out in 1965, and then of course the epic Good, the Bad, and the Ugly that came out in 1966. But tonight we're going to be focused on one of his later films, Once Upon a Time in the West, that came out in 1968, and really enjoyed that film itself too. It's a very, very cool movie, a little bit different in terms of his style compared to the dollar movies, which was your typical cowboy western movie. They call them spaghetti westerns because he had an Italian director, pretty much all Italian based production and the way they brought it together, and had its own flavor compared to something like a Ford John Wayne type movie that was very Americana. And it has its place in cinematography, but I thought this would be a good movie. It's actually free on YouTube right now, so you can watch the entire movie for your enjoyment, or just pick the specific shots. I think it's a beautifully shot movie, with the cinematography and that widescreen by Tonino Delli Colli. He was the cinematographer on it. The Once Upon a Time in the West starred Henry Fonda. It also had Jason Robards and Charles Bronson, and then Claudia Cardinale in that film as well. And then the musical score, absolutely fantastic, by Ennio Morricone. So and you can see even with something like Tarantino's The Hateful Eight, bringing back Morricone for that film too. So just an epic western. It's a beautifully shot film. So if you're looking for great compositions or film composition studies, please take a look at that film. There's a bunch of great sequences to choose from. We're going to play around with the intro sequence for our live stream today and have some fun with it, and sort of how we can learn using, one of the big things I feel about when you're doing reverse storyboarding, it isn't that we're going to be showing this work to people and say, oh, this is my own work. No. This is pretty much just a case study. And when I reverse storyboard, no matter what movie I'm learning, and if you could be learning Hitchcock, Spielberg, there's just so many great David Fincher. There's just this. Wes Anderson. There's so many directors you can study, and Kurosawa, Hitchcock. There's so many, and what I always say is when you're doing these reverse storyboards, you're practicing your art. Number two, you're practicing your visual storytelling. And number three, you're learning your film language. What is a close-up? Why did that director choose that shot? How does the editing of the sequence work? And I think the more of this type of work you're doing and you're playing around with, the more you'll learn. Now, one of the things I'm not saying storyboard the whole movie. There are some artists out there that enjoy storyboarding the entire film. I have a couple friends out there that just do the entire film, whether it be Terminator 2 or E.T. or whatever it is, and they're learning. And you sit there and go, how much did you learn from doing that? I always tend to find something that's important, whether it's has a film history importance, or it's shot really well, or it made you feel something inside, and sort of what you're doing is you're deconstructing it. What was it that made you feel that way? Was it the audio? Was it the visual? What was it that was making you feel emotionally attached to that particular sequence? And you see about it. Was it is it Christopher Reeve flying up on the side of the skyscraper, and Lois Lane is falling, and Superman catches her, and then all of a sudden the helicopter that crash landed on the side of the building is falling, and Superman is coming up, and boom, and how did that make you feel? Superman saved Lois Lane, grabbed the chopper, and then lightly glided down to the top of the building and dropped and saved everybody, or whatever it might be. Maybe it might be Robert Pattinson in the Batman, and or Heath Ledger as the Joker in the other Christopher Nolan films, or was it how did that make you feel when you were watching Psycho by Alfred Hitchcock, or you were watching another movie, maybe romance or rom-com type film, or a cartoon? How did that feel? Whatever you're watching in Toy Story, and Woody and Buzz and all the toys are ready to go into the giant smelting pot at the garbage dump. How did that make you feel? So those are advices I have. So when you're going to go do reverse storyboarding, what you're going to be doing is watching those shots and sort of doing a quick thumbnail sketch on those shots, and then looking at the sequence and how did they build that sequence together to make that scene and make that film all work together. So it's a great study practice. So we're going to be doing that tonight, my friends. So any questions, drop it in the chat. Again, my name is Paul Angeli, and I'm a storyboard artist, and welcome to the channel. Again, I always say to everybody, the channel is absolutely free. So why wouldn't you go ahead and subscribe? You've taken the time to watch the channel and to watch this video. Hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that bell notification button, because I do post a lot, and there's a lot of great content here on the channel. So go absorb it, go learn, and because I want you to be able to get those skills so you can tell your stories. And I think it's super important. We're in an interesting time right now in both movie theaters and entertainment creation, whether it be for network television, broadcast, cable, and of course streaming. Everything is changing a little bit, and we need to hear unique voices like yours. We all have our own personal stories and our own personal backgrounds, and you're never going to be able to tell your story until you learn how to tell stories either in written form or your artistic form or behind the camera. So go at it, go after this, and go tell your story. Okay. And so, cool. Give me a second, Buddha Belly. I'll tell you what the timestamp is. I'm sort of picking it out a little bit too as we're going. Let me go over to Little Polly here and show you how I have things set up, friends. Okay. And everybody can hear me okay. Cool. So I have my Photoshop file here, and it's all set up. It's pretty much, I got our layers on here, and I just got a regular background here, and then on top of it I just have my letterbox bars. Today we're going to be pulling down the drop down window, and I'm going to put the layer comps on as well, and I'm going to keep that over here on the side a little bit because I'll just keep it right here. Keep our layer comps on there. And what I like about layer comps, and sometimes I work this way, is because I can sort of, in a sense, a layer comp takes a picture of that layer, and so we can flick through the different images. There's different ways we can do this. I have it as one big large image, and I'm just going to work that way. Or you can have all the teeny boxes, and then you have 30 boxes that we're filling out and sort of seeing the sequence that way, like a film strip. So I leave it up to you, whichever way you want to work. Ode 10 Cafe just joined. Hey, what's going on, Ode 10 Cafe? Nice to see you back on the live streams. It's great to be back on the live streams too. I missed it a lot. I missed being with you guys, and I'm so happy to be back. It's different when you're traveling, and I didn't want to miss out on you guys, so I was doing these small sort of half-an-hour live streams pretty frequently, just sketchbooking, but it's nice to be back to our regularly scheduled Saturdays, Mondays, and Thursdays. So again, if you are new to the channel, on Saturdays we do our Storyboard Jam Session. Right now we're doing it on reverse storyboarding, but we usually storyboard together. On Mondays I have my storyboarding mastering the basics class, which we go over the basics of storyboarding. Then on Thursdays we got to practice and put that practice in, so we have our sketching after hours. And sometimes we'll do a topic. I think we did one on hair. I had a couple people reach out to me and say, hey Paulie, let's do some landscapes, and how are we going to do the establishing shots and those type of things. So stay tuned for those, but you'll always catch me on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And we have that there too. So, okay, let's get back to Little Polly. And I showed you how I had my sort of Photoshop. I'm using Photoshop right now. And let's take a look at that film real quick. I'm not going to show the film because we don't want any unfortunate YouTube strikes against the channel. But this, there's a link at the bottom of or in the description of this channel for this particular video. Go ahead and click on that link. That'll take you to Once Upon a Time in the West. And I'm just sort of going to pick out that time code real quick. We're going to do the intro. I think it had one of the best intros I've seen for a Western. And I'm trying to, and the sequence is about, gosh, almost 10 minutes. That's a lot of drawing, so I am going to pick out where we're going to go. But I think Sergio Leone is saying a lot within this sequence, and compared to regular typical Westerns. And okay, cool. I think it's a really long sequence, and so I am trying to pick out how we're going to start this. Okay, let me see here. Okay, let's start it right there. Okay, let's start this on, I'm at 3 minutes 53 seconds. This is like a 10-minute sequence for the intro of this particular film. And I think it's a great sequence to be playing around with and to learning. If you want to, save your boards and then go back and watch that first 3 minutes. It's an interesting twist compared to the, and what we're talking about is the difference between an Italian spaghetti Western versus a typical made in the United States Western. There's a couple points in there that I wrote some notes on, I think that are pretty pertinent and important. The villains in this particular film are the bandits themselves, and it can go back and forth between the protagonist and antagonist, between like Charles Bronson and Henry Fonda's characters, and the henchmen in the beginning of the movie. You had all the earlier Sergio Leone movies where you had For a Few Dollars More, Fistful of Dollars, and Good, the Bad, the Ugly, which there was the defined who was good, who was bad in those particular films. And it was the typical quote unquote Western. And compared to like something like a John Ford a film with John Wayne and stuff, it was usually, Civil War type of actions, or it was the cowboys versus the Native Americans type of thing. And here in the Italian westerns, it was sort of it was interesting because if you look at the earlier Sergio Leone films, there are no Native Americans in those films, and the bad guys or the villains that they use are all typical bandits and those type of characters within it. And this movie is the same way too. And they sort of go black, white, gray, and stuff. And then I think in this film also, for the film historians, the first one, they actually in the beginning they had a Native American woman in this initial sequence, and one of the bad guys scoots her out of the building so she's not hurt. So different ways of thinking and things like that too with this particular film. It also shows, where we see a lot of westerns before, it's usually bang, bang, bang. You never get the perspective of the bandits. They're usually drinking or causing trouble in a typical American western. And over here, you're getting to see the. It's a really interesting film when you're watching the film and you go back to watch this film with your film language and learning. There's a lot of sound effects, and if you listen to the film when you're watching Once Upon a Time in the West, it's all sounds. And in the first, everything is it's like the doldrum of the day going on, and these bandits are waiting for Charles Bronson's harmonica character to come into the sequence, and they're sitting there waiting. You could tell that they're in a desolate place, waiting for hours and hours and hours, waiting for the harmonica guy played by Charles Bronson to enter into the picture that they're waiting to take out. And what are these bandits up to? What is the doldrum that they're there for? And it's really interesting what Sergio Leone is doing too on the film side. He is humanizing the villains or the bandit henchmen in this. And it's Jack Elam is one of the you saw him in a lot of John Wayne movies here too. He's one of the bandits along with the other two characters there. But it's interesting. So if you're thinking of the what is the filmmaker trying to say as we're doing the reverse storyboard, and we're doing a little bit of teaching here on filmography and film history and those type of things. So I hope this is beneficial. Shout it out on the chat if you're enjoying yourself. If you're enjoying everything too, throw a like on this particular video, and I appreciate that. Drop a comment later too. Helps tell the YouTube algorithm, hey, we want to see more of this detailed about storyboarding. And I think it's really important. It's not just that we're drawing. We're trying to tell a story. We're trying to communicate emotion. We're trying to move a sequence. What is the behind the character? What are they thinking? And I think this is a cool sequence to study as a storyboard artist. I think it's really important to have that understanding. So when you're sitting down with a director, you're sitting down with a client, you can sit there and you can be talking about films and animation and cartoons or comics that you've seen, and you can sit there and go, yeah, that 1968 film, Once Upon a Time in the West, there was that one shot where, I could see our protagonist doing the same thing, and he's sitting in the chair, and why would the Jack Elam's character has got nothing to do, and he's catching flies with his gun, it's crazy, in the barrel of his pistol. So it's like, there's some interesting things there, and you're waiting for these characters to wait for the Charles Bronson character to come in on the train. And what's interesting is when the train finally comes in, you hear all this sort of boring, detailed, quiet, desolate sounds, and then all of a sudden this train comes screeching, and then you start getting Morricone's music, and you got the harmonica. The harmonica sound that gives you like, whoa, what's going on here? There's something going down. And so there's a lot to learn from these type of films. I get jazzed about it, and I hope you're jazzed too as we're talking about it. But let's go back to that film and take a look at that sequence here. And we have at, again, we're on the film. I'm at time code 3 minutes 53 seconds, and that's where I'm going to be starting right now. There's a great, we'll call this our establishing shot. We got Jack Elam just sitting there in his chair, got his cowboy hat over his eyes. We've pretty much cut through the first 4 minutes of this 10 minute or so sequence, and so let's sort of look at this and go ahead and start drawing. So let me drop this down a little bit. And let's get this going. Okay. Make sure we can see everything. Sort of getting my computer set up here so I can move some stuff around. Oops. Right about here. Okay, so we got our sequence here. Hopefully you can. Let's stretch it out funky. Just making sure we can see this okay. Having some troubles here. Okay, so it can work like this. Squishing my screen here. Now it pops back. Okay, cool. We'll play that game. Okay. Okay, so we have our first shot that we're going to be working on. I'm going to work simple in terms of how we're doing this here. And what we don't want to see is we don't want to see a lot of detail as we're drawing this sequence here. And so let's go ahead. We almost got the character on the rule of thirds there. Had a shot here. Get this bumped up a little bit. So we sort of have the doorway there in terms of what we're doing. We got Jack Elam's character just sitting there on his chair. And so we just want to, what we're thinking about is just a little bit of that, got that background landscape going on. So it's going to be back over here. We got some fencing. Just keep it simple. You got Jack Elam's character on his chair. He's got his hat. Tilted down. He's right here looking on. You got some sort of something here to add a little depth. keep it sort of simple. Scale him up a little bit because he's on that rule of thirds. Right there. We got the camera focused, and a couple things we can do is sometimes when I'm working, I'll add just a layer on there, and I can simply do something like this. I'm just going to add a little bit of color to it or something. There, so we see Jack Elam's character there. And sort of see that shot come together like that. Okay, so then let's go ahead and we're just going to go and snap a picture of that. And this will be our first shot in this particular sequence. Okay, if that makes sense. Let me go back over to the chat here. Auntie Russ, what's going on? Welcome to the live stream. And if you're just joining, there's a time code for Once Upon a Time in the West, and right now we are at time code 3 minutes 53 seconds. So let's go ahead and see what happens with this next part of the sequence. There's a lot of sound effects on there. Next one is we have a windmill and a character walking into that sequence here. Let's go ahead and grab the shot real quick. There's like a water tower there. There's a bunch of different stuff. So let's go ahead and draw the next sequence. On there too. And so that next sequence image we have sort of more of an establishing shot here. And it's a cool shot because you have the mountain range. Here in the background. You have some mountains in the scene there. What's cool is you have your perspective. It sort of starts about right here. You have your train tracks that are coming through. You also have the area here. You have some sort of building here. It's a part of it. And you had that Jack Elam character that was back over here. You got this like super cool let's move that over a little bit. You got this cool, and what we're trying to do is just get enough information that we know what we're doing. And we got this cool windmill with the blades. Coming through here, you have like the edge of this water tower system here showing the height. You have a couple different things here going on. You got all these planks. Just a series of planks. And then you have the train tracks here. That are right there. And if I need to, you know, we have our mountain range in the back. As we're learning, we're not trying to do too complicated, we're just keeping it sort of simple. I'm not trying to draw a Picasso here, just trying to draw enough that I can show what's going on here. I got the building. Here. Like that. Then we have the blades. Just trying to get the idea of what's going on in this town. And then the only other thing I might add on there is A little bit of shadow here. As we're studying and learning, and then we have our character that is walking. So we're trying to show some size here. As he's walking. Okay, so that's our second shot as he's walking. You know, we're sort of looking, we got that. If he's not in the right spot, we can shrink him down and move him down, because if it's in the rule of thirds, he's going to be right around there somewhere. So we can stay focused on him. Okay, so we got that there. How's your guys' drawings coming along? Are they coming along nicely? Cool. Having fun with this. Okay, so back over here in Photoshop, I'm going to do another layer comp. So there's number 1 and number 2. So you can sort of see the shots. Okay, there's that character, Jack Elam's character, shot 1, shot 2, a little bit brighter. We have the guy walking, one of the 3 villains walking through in that sequence. Okay. What's cool is that shot hangs there for a while, and all we do is we see that character move across the screen. So we're going to duplicate that layer, turn off that earlier layer, and he's going to be walking closer to camera. Well, since he's walking closer, go like that, and we can simply just reuse that sequence again, call it number 3. So we can sort of see it like this. Okay, shot 1. Okay, you got the one bandit played by Jack Elam. He's sitting there half asleep. The other character that's walking around, walking by, is walking across into the center of the frame. Okay, what's next? So you got all these characters with nothing to do. They're all waiting. Okay. And let's go to the next shot here. And do this at your own pace too, because we're here learning. We're learning how they're putting these shots together. There's a couple poles over here. Over there. Goes the top over here. We got the train tracks. Coming around here. Not looking for perfection, we're just looking for, can we tell the story? Train tracks there. And we have one cowboy here. Put him on a layer, another layer on there. And I'm just sort of looking at his silhouette right now. Try to keep it simple. So then what we can do too is if that, we can always transform that character a little bit too. Get him up, he's going to be in the frame there. We could also I tend to use my warp tool a lot too, so if he's sitting there. Till he's sort of in the shadows there. Right there. So we have that character there. Let's go ahead and snap a image of that. So if you go back and watch the sequence, 1, 2, 3, 4. Because what ends up happening with this character too, he turns around, and we could show that. Either we can show it visually, or because he does like a swing around. We would do that in red if we were marking that up. Okay. Cool. I hope everybody's learning something as we're doing this. A little bit of work. If we wanted to, we can duplicate. Oop. Went too far. If I was trying to show him turning around, I could grab him real quick. Do it like that. Oops. Try that one more time. All we can do is just come back in. Let's go like that. Let's duplicate him. Take that. For a quick way to You sort of have him, just his back. And do something like this because he's gonna walk around like that. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Okay, let's start this off right here. Shot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He turns around. Cool. On a pretty good roll here. Thank you, Happy on the Fly Outdoors. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the live stream. Thanks for watching. Appreciate that. Happy on the Fly says, awesome. Thank you so much, Happy on the Fly. Okay. Let's go back to our film and see what happens next. Next we have the third cowboy just playing in the water there. Okay. You can sort of see where everybody's sort of positioned in the storyboard too. So you turn off these layers there. Go on for the next one. Go back to black. Okay. Here we get a little bit of perspective going on. And here he's playing in like a water, oops. A water trough. He's sort of, you think about the rule of thirds, he's right in that rule of thirds area. And so we got to have him So we have him there. Scale him down just a tad bit. Get a new layer behind him. Now we sort of have the trough. Going through there, he's got like a building here, you get the water tower. Right there, you had the windmill. There you have a structure here. Scale those images down. Cool. Get a little bit bigger brush. right there. Another layer. He was flicking his hand to the water. Like that. Flick his hand in the water. Let's duplicate that layer. Duplicate that layer. Like that. And we can just simply just go and animate that just a little bit. That layer. Like that. And we just go ahead and create another layer. Boom. Okay, so we can sort of see this sequence here. You can sort of see the storyboard animating itself. So let's go to one. We got one cowboy over here. Another one is walking towards the water tower. Swings around. One's bored. Plays with the water. Let's take a look at that shot again. And he sort of looks up. He's bored. Okay. Hope everybody's having fun drawing this with me. And you're having a good time. Check the chat for anybody. Hope everybody's hanging with me and having a good time. Okay. And then this cowboy is going to look up. So then what we could do is just go back. Duplicate that layer comp here. Seven. Duplicate that one. What I can do, duplicate that layer. Duplicate that layer. Okay. So what he's going to do is he's put his hand up there, so move that a little bit. So what we're going to do here is going to get this opened up a little bit. See how this looks. So again, from the got right there, we got this cool establishing shot. There, establishing shot. Camera turns around. This guy's flicking with the water and looks up. Got this going on. Just shows how bored they are in terms of this sequence. Because what he does is he sits there so he's looking off in the distance here. Hope everybody's having a good time. Let me know in the chat if you're having fun with this and you're learning from this movie. Appreciate that. Take a sip of my drink here. Okay. Okay, another layer. Right now we've done about 8 panels. More shots. Okay. Here we just have another establishing shot. Simplify our line. We just pretty much have some train tracks there, because he's just looking off in the distance of the train. He's just waiting for the train. We've got the train there, so I'll do another shot there. His perspective. And then I think he takes his hat off. Let's duplicate this layer. a little. Okay, guess what he's gonna do is he's gonna go here. New layer. He's going to grab his hat. Try to make this go a little bit quicker, friends. See how this looks. Boom, boom. Turns around. Plays with the water. Lifts his head up. Looks into the prairie. Looks at the tracks. Keeps looking. Grabs his hat. In terms of what we're doing, we'll cut a shot out of there. We go back to the guy from the beginning. Jack Elam's character. Just throw a save on there real quick. Okay. Okay, we got Jack Elam's character here. Just thinking out loud real quick as we're drawing this guy. All right there. Okay. Okay, let's do another shot there. Okay, let's see what we have so far. Thanks, Buddha Belly. Hey, Blissful Soul, thanks for hanging in there, coming on board. Buddha Belly gives a wave. Buddha Belly said, whoop. For the old people out there, Dr. Ruth just died. Oh my goodness gracious. You know who's the exorcist? Richard Simmons just passed away too. Dr. Ruth and Richard Simmons. Wow. That's too bad. Like the texture, huh? Cool. Yeah, no, it looks good. Okay, so let's see what we have. Got quite a few shots here. Okay, so this is the guy that we started with, that we ended with. Let's reduce this down just a tad bit. Have him. Have the windmill going. Walks across. Back. Swings around. The other cowboy. There's a third cowboy playing around with the water. Looks up. Looks at the train track going off in the distance. Grabs his hat, takes it off. He's back over there. The other cowboy is just sitting there on the rocking back and forth. There's a couple other shots there. Thanks, Blissful Soul. Looking good. Cool. I think I'm going to do one more shot, and then you guys on your own can complete the sequence and have some fun with it. We'll draw one more shot. I'm going to skip a couple because we've been going on this for a little while now. I need to get some rest for tomorrow. But I think you guys are in confident hands to continue the storyboarding process. Okay. Let's see here. We got a really great shot of Jack Elam. Here. I'm just going to sort of Okay, let's get another shot there and say, let's see what we have here, friends. Okay, so we start off with this shot here. Blissful Soul says, I really like to do some more digital art, but find it hard to focus on any, too hard to focus long. Any tips? Cool. I think it's just practice in terms of what you're doing there. Blissful Soul. Let me get the... Yeah, just it's just practice. You know, practice with everything. You know, I draw traditionally in my sketchbook. The reason why I do that is I want to be able to sit down with a director or a client and just be able to you know, draw right in front of them anything they may need to tell the story and communicate. And I do a lot of the, you know, roughs and things like that, and in my sketchbooks as I'm drawing. And I think it, just as much as you practice in your sketchbook, you need to practice with your digital tools too. Remember, these are just tools. You know, using pens or using your stylist, they're just a tool. You got to put the practice in, and you know, I'm not using any super crazy stuff, and you know, that's sort of that. You know, it's just the practice and practicing with your tools and consistency of that practice. You'll get better in time, Blissful Soul. So put that to it. So let's watch the sequence one more time real quick, and we'll just, if you want to continue with the sequence to complete the whole 10-minute sequence, please be my guest. Go and put the pencil miles in. We've been rolling for almost a couple hours now, and I'm going to call it a night and get some rest. I think this is a great opening. It's one of, in a Western, this is one of the best openings I've seen to get you into the environment and get you feeling for what you're doing. So please take the time and watch this this sequence and have some fun with it. So cool. So let's go ahead and watch this sequence and keep everything going there. And just trying to watch the comments too. Okay, so we're here inside. Great establishing shot here. Second bandit is walking next to the train tracks to the water tower. His back walks in, swings around, takes position. The other one is playing. And so one is by the water tower, one is in the building, one is playing in the looks like horse trough or the trough water. Plays with the water, looks up, sees the train going off in the distance, nothing coming yet. Keeps looking, grabs his hat, puts his hat down. The other cowboy is just sitting there rocking in this rocker and looks off to the side there. So I'm going to call it there for what we're doing here for this particular sequence. Again, if you had a good time with me tonight, I highly recommend you guys do you know, practice that reverse storyboarding. It'll help you out a lot. You know, and with all the shots that we just did, so many different shots, establishing shots, medium shots, close-ups. We've done quite a few. And Buddha Belly says, I like him. I like him too. The actor Jack Elam, awesome, crazy actor. Goofy eyes, but you know, been in a lot of old school westerns. You ended with a bang. Thanks so much, Buddha Billy. Appreciate that. So happy to be back in the saddle here for our 3 times a week live stream. So I appreciate you taking the time to hang out with your good buddy Paulie here on my YouTube channel. And again, if you're new to storyboarding, sequential storytelling, for either live action, animation, whether you're drawing a comic book or doing your own picture book. I welcome you to the channel. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification button to be notified the next time I am live streaming. A couple other things real quick too. If you enjoyed something new during this live stream, I always say, you know what? You can support the channel besides your subscribing to the channel, but also too, you can always tip me with a coffee. I love drinking coffee. I drink a lot of it, and it keeps me up for these late nights hanging out with you good friends. Check out my Buy Me a Coffee site. The link is in the description below. And if you'd like to make a donation of a coffee, I'd super appreciate that. And then also for a lot of you guys are taking me up on my mentorship. This is a one-on-one mentorship with me. You can find out more in the description of this particular video. I'm not sponsored by Buy Me a Coffee. I'm using the platform for my donations right now and my one-on-one mentorships. And I'd like to thank all of you that have already been doing the one-on-one mentorships with me. Your work is getting so good, and you're getting better and better and better each time I see your work. So thank you so much for being a part of the mentorship or dropping me a tip of a coffee. Super appreciate that. Hang tight. Soon we will be getting the membership program launched off of here for the YouTube channel. So if you would like more in-depth study of storyboarding and visual storytelling, I'd love to work with you. So if you're interested, I will leave you with my contact information at the end, so I can get in contact with you once we launch the membership program. Again, keep drawing, keep telling your stories. You can do this. The world needs to hear your stories. So I hope you learned a lot in this particular lesson. I will see you in the next live stream on Monday, or unless you see me quicker on one of the sketch sessions. But I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you for taking time out of your precious day to hang out with your buddy Paulie here on YouTube. So I will catch you in the next one. I'll leave you with my contact information. But Paulie signing off. Have a great night and the rest of your weekend. So take care. Good night, everybody.